Thank you for joining us on this special ABC24 digital newscast. I'm Kevin McNamara. First tonight, it's been 1 week since the tragic shooting at Shelby Farms that claimed the life of 22-year-old Ellie Young. Today, loved ones gathered in Tipton County to honor Young's life and legacy. Our Stephen Reels was in Ripley this afternoon and has more on this final goodbye.
This afternoon, loved ones gathered right behind me at Ripley's First United Methodist Church for Ellie Young's funeral, and one final goodbye with a heavy heart. In her obituary, the 22-year-old med student was described as a passionate person who brought light and joy to those who knew her. One of Young's sorority sisters said, "To know her was to love her," before saying Young wouldn't want them to dwell on the pain, which is something many have taken to heart, to beg for someone to find a solution so a death like Young's doesn't happen again.
I just think it's terrible, man. It's terrible. We got to do something about this gun violence.
But this isn't the end. Coming up tonight at 10, I'll have more on what's next for the man behind Young's death, along with the legacy her life is leaving behind. In Ripley, I'm Stephen Reels.
All right, joined now, special on the weekends, meteorologist Trevor Burchett here looking at the forecast. Trevor, we finally got a little bit of rain here.
Yeah, I had to double check and see what was falling from the sky earlier.
It's been a while.
28 days. We finally broke the streak.
Close to a record, right?
Yeah, very close to a record. So with some much needed rain coming in today, there are still a couple of showers out there now. It's not much rain, but as you're going about your evening plans, you could certainly find yourself under a quick shower. Now, I don't think this is enough to completely affect any outdoor plans, but much like we've seen through the day today, I wouldn't be surprised to see a sprinkle or two this evening. Otherwise, mostly dry with temperatures in the 60s. Things are looking more dry tonight. We'll see a mix of some starry sky and a couple of clouds with lows in the 50s and a cool northerly breeze. We will be a little bit cooler. We've had a cold front pass through. That's what brought us the rain. That's going to keep our temperatures down in the 70s tomorrow. 75 with sunshine tomorrow in Memphis. We'll get to 74 in Dyersburg, 76 in Bolivar and Corinth, also in Forest City, and a bit warmer down in Clarksdale. They'll get up to 80 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. Our average high for this time of year, 71. And as we look at that temperature outlook, it looks like things are going to stay above normal for the rest of October and through early November. So if you're looking for a taste of fall, you're going to have to keep looking because temperatures will stay warm for the next week or two. Rain chances after today, they stay pretty low, maybe a sprinkle tomorrow or Monday, but otherwise we're going to start the week off mostly dry. Our next best chance of rain, and actually the best chance we've had in a while, that comes in on Thursday with a pretty strong cold front that will approach the Mid-South Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That's going to bring us a line of some possibly heavy rain and maybe a couple of thunderstorms through the day on Thursday. Now, of course, that is Halloween, so there is a potential for some of those Halloween plans to be impacted by that rain on Thursday. We'll watch that for you and we'll keep you updated, but at least Sunday looking pretty nice as we round out the weekend. 75 tomorrow with sunshine. Very warm to start the week, mid-80s with a mix of sun and clouds Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Rain likely on Thursday for Halloween. That could affect some of those Halloween evening plans. Highs in the 70s Thursday. Most of the rain gone by Friday, maybe a sprinkle on Friday with a high near 73 and looking dry for next weekend. So far, 78 with a couple of clouds on Saturday.
All right, earlier today, volunteers over in Cordova joined County Commissioner Shante Avant for another community cleanup. The event focused on a number of different locations in the area, including near the Agri Center off Walnut Grove. Volunteers spent multiple hours collecting trash along the road in an effort to help restore Memphis to be the cleanest city in America. That's an honor the Bluff City received back in the 1930s.
We started this campaign initiative in order for people to be able to share a little love on a Saturday morning, give a couple of hours, and the difference that it makes in keeping our community clean. We want Cordova to stay a thriving community, and part of that is how we pour love and our community support into it.
Commissioner Avant says what was most inspiring about the cleanup was seeing so many young people participating in the efforts. Halloween is just around the corner, and the scariest things lurking around the corner aren't monsters or ghosts. According to doctors, it's cars. Halloween is, in fact, one of the deadliest days of the year for pedestrians, especially for kids. That's why we're seeking solutions on how you can stay safe this Halloween. While doctors say the risks around candy may be a bit misplaced, experts are sure of the risks cars pose during Halloween. That's why they suggest you walk defensively and keep you and your kids out of harm's way. Stay aware of your surroundings. And that last one, it goes for drivers and pedestrians. They also suggest safe costumes for trick-or-treaters and avoiding tripping hazards like capes or bulky outfits that are unsafe for car seats. For extra security, make sure those costumes are not flammable. Here at ABC24 and CW30, we're committed to helping you seek solutions. So if you have a concern you want us to look into, text the word solutions, that's with an S, and a summary of your story to 901-321-7520. That's solutions and your concern to 901-321-7520. Former President Donald Trump making stops in Michigan this weekend campaigning for early voting. Last night he was in Traverse City, where in addition to early voting, Trump touched on topics like the economy, the auto industry, and support from minorities in Michigan. The rally got started 3 hours late due to the former president's recording an interview with Joe Rogan. When he took the stage, Trump apologized, saying it was the longest interview he's ever done. And today, he'll continue his tour through Michigan with former Representative Mike Rogers.
Please give a big, loud Texas welcome to the next President of the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris.
And that, of course, is Beyonce showing her support for Vice President Kamala Harris at her rally in Houston earlier this week. At that rally, Harris, who was interrupted in the beginning of her remarks by apparent protesters from the crowd, focused on abortion rights, calling Texas ground zero in the fight for reproductive freedom. Abortion remains a rallying issue among Democrats who were able to stave off a, quote, red wave during the 2022 midterms by centering their messages around it.
I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother. A mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in.
Alongside Queen Bee was her former Destiny Child bandmate Kelly Rowland and fellow Texas native Willie Nelson, also there showing his support for Harris. Right now, Delta Airlines is suing CrowdStrike, claiming the cybersecurity company had cut corners, causing that massive worldwide tech outage back in July. Some of you may remember the outage over the summer, during which Delta says resulted in more than $500 million in lost revenue and extra expenses. The Atlanta-based airliner now asking for compensation and damages. The outage began when a faulty update was sent to millions of Microsoft computers. The outage didn't just affect Delta, though. It impacted businesses and government agencies all around the world, including a few right here in Memphis. The Transportation Department is investigating why it took longer for Delta to recover than the other carriers. And 4 SpaceX Crew 8 members, including one from Colorado, are back on Earth. They had a long trip home from the International Space Station. Commander Matt Dominic and the rest of the crew left the ISS earlier this week and landed off the coast of Florida yesterday morning. The splashdown ended a 7.5-month mission. NASA said the crew was taken to a nearby hospital for evaluations. In fact, one of the 4 was just released from the hospital a few hours ago with what NASA called a medical issue. But NASA isn't saying what happened and says the astronaut is stable. Staying on SpaceX, its owner, Elon Musk, has been in regular contact with Vladimir Putin, according to a new report. That Wall Street Journal report alleges the two have had conversations going back to 2022. In it, several current and former U.S. and Russian officials are quoted with saying the two spoke on everything from business to geopolitics. According to the report, Putin even asked the billionaire to avoid activating his Starlink satellite internet service over Taiwan to favor Chinese leader Xi Jinping. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson called for the report to be investigated. History was made yesterday at the Liberty Bowl. The first black person to compete as a player for the University of Memphis now has a street named after him. But it wasn't just about the sign for Glenn Rogers Sr. It was also a chance to celebrate his legacy as a coach and mentor. Our visual storyteller, Devin Wood, was there and has more.
Glenn Rogers Sr. played for the Tigers from 1969 through 1971. He and Stan Davis joined the team in the fall of 1969 becoming the first black players to appear in a game for the University of Memphis. Following his playing career, Glenn coached for 14 years at Southside High School.
That's a former player. Yes. I didn't have a father figure. This was my guy right here.
Coach Rogers was such a special coach because he cared for his players, he loved us, he mentored all of us, and he cared about us. So when people care about you, you care about them and you go the extra mile.
You know, my brothers and I, we didn't have to look far for a role model. He was always in the other room. And I love him and thank him for that. Because a lot of young men don't have a role model in the house.
Y'all gonna get them scrappers in there. Y'all scrappers come on forward.
Coach, I love you, man.
I love you too.
I told him, he's my hero.
And I'm going to bring my dad up now. Come on. Everybody loves to be appreciated, you know, and I feel totally appreciated. You know. I've been to the mountaintop.
Wonderful story there. That's all we have for you here on this special digital edition of ABC24 News. We will see you after all the games for your late news on ABC24 at 10. Take care.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.